League players either love or hate anime, and there never seems to be any in between, as League has never been a weeb game before. So, when the community's hatred was already burning bright thanks to The Instant, I can't say I've seen a more polarizing release than Gwen for, well, aesthetics alone. Given that she started as a lifeless doll, not many people are happy with her lifelike appearance and would rather she remained more like her Viego distraction tool form. Some think Gwen should look more like this, others reject that and want her more like this. As for me,
I don't give a shit.
In-game, Gwen is a melee carry, believe it or not, with many similarities with Fiora, but just not quite that good for reasons we'll see later. Despite that, AoE true damage and AoE percentage max health damage are kinda strong, so she would see nerfs since her release, and now she's never gonna be quite as good as back then. That's okay, we love her. If you don't,
I don't give a shit.
her base stats are quite good, boasting some of the highest base armor in the game with otherwise average stats. Her magic resistance is fairly standard among melee champions, but still places her well ahead of the ranged roster. Despite all this, she'll still struggle against many matchups and ranged opponents due to a lack of her own range, even if she can increase it with ability. She can go wherever you want her to go at this point. She's decent at dueling in some top lane matchups, but actually cries at others. And her lack of sustain means her jungling isn't exactly healthy, but she has no shortage of AoE damage for clearing, even if her lack of CC makes ganks lacking, a downside that is still notable after level 6. And mid is better and worse than you think, as yes, she can use her W to avoid a burst combo or something, but also that thing has a cooldown. But I mean, hey, AoE true damage. Don't go bot lane. And no, she's not a support, like, at all. I mean, nor is Brand, but that never stopped him. Do what you want. Gwen's passive is 1,000 cuts. It causes her auto attacks and any ability that applies it to deal a percentage of the target's maximum health in magic damage, scaling with AP, and it also heals Gwen for a portion of the amount. This ability is most of Gwen's damage unless all enemies are low health or high resistance or both, in which case the true damage we'll see later does start to seem quite nice. The healing means Gwen can survive fights she seems like she has no business surviving even without Riftmaker. As for how it gets applied, Gwen's Q is Snip Snip, and it does just that to tanky health bars. Or any health bars actually. It deals a flat amount of magic damage, which to be fair isn't that high, and in the center of the ability it deals true damage, plus applying 1,000 cuts. It does extra hits for each stack Gwen has with this ability, which you can get by just auto-attacking, maxing out at 4. Now this sounds busted amazing, like a Fiora passive machine gun, until you realize that the true damage conversion only applies not only for just 50% of the damage since the nerfs, but also only on the flat damage of the Q, not the passive damage. So while building AP does increase both her percentage damage and true damage, if you really want to shred someone with high HP, Magic Penetration is not a bad option at all. In fact, Magic Penetration in general on her is pretty good and very underrated. The Q is either busted or useless with little in between, because when someone just decides to sit still while you attack, the HP bar will just disintegrate. Yet anyone with half a brain cell can just hit you with one of these. So things can get a bit crazier with this in team fights where move speed is higher, move speed buffs are happening and literally everyone is dashing, but you don't want to miss a single tick of that Q center damage. Gwen's W is Hallowed Mist, a friendly mist that Gwen only uses for herself. Damn, gonna like give the team a hand here? Casting it places a circle of mist around Gwen's location. Recasting it can move it to where Gwen currently is, but you can only reposition it once. While inside the mist, Gwen gains some armor and magic resist scaling with AP, but more importantly, Gwen is immune to all abilities from enemies outside the zone. Not only does this mean damage like Xin Zhao are, but also any crowd controls, projectiles, anything. This means they also just pass through Gwen, so careful you don't try to body block for someone with your W. Thanks to its interaction with Gwen's dash on E, you can dash and W at the same time by pressing W right after E to place Gwen right on the edge. And your extended melee range and Qs should be able to hit opponents just beyond the border. This doesn't mean Gwen is completely invincible, literally all they need to do is walk inside. This is where using the one recast to reposition it becomes very important. And with this ability's long cooldown, you really can't afford to misuse it. Gwen's E is Skip and Slash, which she uses to snip. This name isn't right. Gwen dashes up to a certain range and for 5 seconds is able to deal bonus magic damage on hit. She gains bonus attack speed and her range is increased. The cooldown is reduced when she auto-attacks a champion with it. This used to increase her attack speed by an actually ridiculous amount even at level 1, and it was a good part of why she had a pretty broken, always winning laning phase on release. You can use her dash with W as mentioned, but you can also use it with Q freely, casting Q while dashing or dashing at any point of Q for a bit of a surprise. It might seem super powerful for mobility, and while it isn't super amazing at retreating or chasing so long as you aren't able to actually hit anything, as the cooldown is quite long by default. At high levels, it is able to get a large enough cooldown refund to basically be a permanent buff, and this used to be even easier before her nerfs. While you could max this to be super mobile and get more attack speed for AD Gwen, Q is just too important to be maxed over, so you already know what you're getting into. Inversely, Gwen's W is absolutely a 1-point wonder, so it makes sense to level E second. Gwen's ultimate is Needlework. She throws a single needle dealing magic damage and applying her passive, and a slow. After 1.5 seconds, she can cast it again, throwing a burst of 3 needles, and after another 1.5 seconds, she can fling a flurry of 5 needles, each needle having its own damage and passive proc. It is really easy to underestimate Gwen's damage numbers thanks to her ability base damage seeming low by itself, but with the multiple rapid passive procs, it can be the bane of tanks everywhere and even squishies too. The slow on the needles means this is one of Gwen's best bets at hitting an enemy anywhere further than her E range, and multiple needles together with the center of her stacked Q deals so much damage that a scene like this should already be a dopamine bomb for a Gwen player. Given she only has this as her only CC, she should try and leverage as much use out of it as possible. Yes, to gap close with the slow, but also using ultimate before using Q to make sure they're slowed for the center damage. On release, Gwen's ultimate would need an auto attack to reset, which did have the potential to be even faster than 1.5 seconds, but for ranged use was highly impractical. During the 1.5 second pause of today's Gwen, that's usually time spent casting Q or stacking Q anyway. Gwen's gameplay revolves around decimating anyone with tons of percentage max health damage, and even cutting through resistances with true damage, rewarding precise cuts and positioning for both damage and evasion with W. Though her ability to say no to ranged marksmen may frustrate them, League has been saying that for years now, so it's not like it should really be a surprise at this point. And just tell someone like Tryndamere to enter the mist, and you won't have to worry about Gwen for too long. Her kit mostly works against tanks who have the high health to be shredded down and the high resistances to be torn through. With well-placed Q centers and her ultimate base damage can do pretty decently even on squishies. The max health damage even means that she doesn't have to build AP like a glass cannon, and simply build more tanky with items like Abyssal Mask, or letting her damage scale with the enemies instead. Also, she has this really funny glitch if you move side to side while spamming the stop command and then immediately moving. Like the Zac E-Sprint, I hope it never gets fixed. I might not have been playing her nearly as much as I played Fresh, but I've played both of these champions consistently since they were released, so if the dates were swapped, the opposite would likely apply. It's pretty rare that I can like any of those recently released champions, at least not enough to actually play them, but she fits that melee carry niche that I've always loved, and even slightly, ever so slightly, filled that Aatrox-shaped hole in my heart. Also, she's cute. Thanks for watching. I'm a little surprised how much shorter this one was compared to the Fresh Bad Summary, which you can find in the top right or in the end screen in a minute, but given how Gwen has been out for about a tenth of the time Fresh has, I suppose it makes sense. As always, I have a lot of champions and other things I'd be happy to cover in a video like this, though I'm more likely going to talk about a champion I both really like and feel qualified enough to talk about. I'd still love to hear what champions you guys would like to see as well. Hey, maybe our stars will align. While we're at it, I play Gwen as well as AD and AP Fresh pretty frequently over on Twitch, which you can find at the link below. And I've got a lot of content like this video planned, with plenty more gameplay to come as well, especially with Nexus Blitz around the corner and Arena the month after. So please, feel free to follow over on Twitch where we play Project Sekka, I mean lots of League of Legends of course, yeah. We're pretty close to 80,000 subscribers here on YouTube as well, so please feel free to subscribe, like, and drop a comment if you like. Every single gesture does not go unappreciated, so thank you again. Speaking of thanks, thank you to all of these members who got some early updates on the progress of this video and past videos, got early access to some of my other videos, and hopefully have been using those funny member-exclusive emotes in the Premiere chats and the comment section. Speaking of members, here they are. Special thanks to Light, AJBeats91, War Squid, Ultimate Ground, Kaide, Boblax, my dad, N-Era, Gentleman Zeta, Luna Eagle 1996, Isaac Beckman 53rd Alabama Booty Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mikano, and Ace the Immortal. Thank you for your support once again. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.